Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? What's up, nerds? What is he doing in the closet, you may be asking? It's Thursday, what can I say? If I could be honest, my back has been absolutely killing me lately. I mean, I can barely bend over. Whoa! Hey, I do my daily morning stretches, and that seems to alleviate a lot of the pain. Obviously, sitting in this closet is not helping at all. This is probably one of the worst things I could be doing. I feel like Tobey Maguire from one of the Spider-Man movies. Oh, my back! I mean, I researched my own whole physical therapy stretching routine, all right? And whilst I was researching, I stumbled across something rather interesting. Sensory deprivation tanks. They're those really salty tanks that people float in. And apparently through all my research, these sensory deprivation tanks are apparently magic. They're cash money. Oh my gosh. I just ripped absolute cheek, I'm not gonna lie. But according to the Googles, some of the benefits of floating in a sensory deprivation tank are that it relieves stress and anxiety. It improves sleep, it improves mood, enhances creativity and focus, and most importantly, pain relief. That's what we're talking about. All right, I gotta get out of here. I can't sit here much longer. Oh my gosh. I mean, one of my biggest fears in life is becoming one of those hunched over old guys that just shuffles around everywhere. Not it! But with all these said benefits of floating in sensory deprivation tanks, there's quite a few risks apparently, including itchiness, dry mouth, paranoia, stomach upset or nausea, panic, difficulty breathing, out-of-body experiences, and hallucinations. Sounds pretty normal to me, but in all seriousness, I feel like the pros far outweigh the cons. I mean, a little dry mouth and itchiness for no more back pains. Sounds pretty good to me. So I decided to see if there were any sensory deprivation float tanks near me. And to my surprise, there were like a gazillion of these things just popping up everywhere. So I went to one of the sites and I was getting real piped up, seeing all these pictures of people floating, looking like they're having a great time. I mean, I'm trying to look like that. I was all set to rumble. And then I saw the stinking price. $79 to float in salt water. Whoa! So I thought to myself, what if I just made my own sensory deprivation tank? So I hired the help of my best buddy, ChatGPT. That's my dog. So I asked ChatGPT how I could make my own sensory deprivation tank. And according to Chat, there are two main ingredients needed. Number one, water. Seems rather obvious. And number two, salt. You take those two and give them the old Richard Mixon. And obviously you need a kiddie pool or a bathtub. I don't have a kiddie pool, so we're just rolling with the bathtub. So in short, ChatGPT told me to fill up a bathtub with water and Epsom salts, and then you hop in that puppy. Apparently you just float your way to a pain-free life. On top of the salt and water and bathtub, ChatGPT says that in order to have a legit sensory deprivation tank, the lights also must be off, or you just need to be blindfolded. Your ears should be plugged, or you should play some white noise, with the main point being you're trying to block out all of your senses so that you're just floating there like a turd in a toilet. I'm just hoping that I don't start tripping sack in there or drowning. That's a legitimate concern. I've heard people fall asleep in these things, and sometimes they never wake up. All right. Toodaloo. There is a lot more hair than I care to admit in this tub. It's kind of nasty. But phase one of making our own sensory deprivation tank has been completed. We have the tub, we have said water that will come out of thine spigot, and we have our Dr. Teal's Epsom salts. I unfortunately do not have a blindfold. However, I do have these socks that I found on my floor that I tied together to make me a makeshift blindfold. Yo! Also, these Harry Potter freaking butterbeer goldfish. Absolutely schlap. Okay, well, we have all of the necessary ingredients ready to rock and roll. However, I have encountered a few minor roadblocks. Roadblock number one is that I cannot fit in this bathtub without bending my knees. As you can see, it is quite the tight squeeze down here. This was not in my calculations. I'm hoping that once we get some water in here and some salt, that I will somehow be able to float on top whilst my knees are bent. We're gonna make it work. The second roadblock is that I have not calculated at all what our salt to water ratio should be, because most of these tanks have almost like 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt in them, and I've got one bag. If you were seeking perfection, you came to the wrong place. I mean, all in all, I'm still pretty excited to see if this even works, so let's get cracking. First order of business is getting rid of all these hairs out of the tub. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but we got most of the hairs. Okay, the hairs are gone. Now it's time to plug up the drain. This thing just spins forever. Oh, it's okay, I think it's good. Okay, now it is time to turn on the water. Oh, jeez! Oh my gosh, it's not working. Apparently the spigot for the bathtub is not working. Unbeknownst to me, that's the first time I've tried to do that. So it's just the shower water, so. Oh my gosh, we're leaking. We're leaking water. This is awesome. I think we are going to now add our salts. I'm just gonna dump this whole puppy in and we're just gonna run it up. Now we're gonna give her the old-fashioned stir. Oh, whoa, oh! I just took the spigot up the butt. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the tub has been filled, the water has been salted, and now all we have left is to scrub it up dub and hop in the tub. Okay, I am going to now get into my floating uniform in 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, we have our trunks on, and yes, I'm wearing a shirt, and I know it's a collared shirt, and it looks like I should probably be golfing, but it's a quick dry shirt, okay? Let's just get over it. I didn't want to go shirtless and make a bunch of people jealous from those rock hard abs. I'm going to apply my blindfold, and we are going to test out our homemade sensory deprivation tank. Let's get floating. Whoa! We're not floating a ton, but my back is off the bottom of the tub. Not by a lot, but we're floating, baby. We're floating a little bit. All right, this is better than I thought. Whoa. Alright, I don't know what the frick that was, but I was actually surprised how well I was able to float. It wasn't anything crazy, and my feet were touching the bottom of the tub the whole time, but my head and back were able to actually stay off the bottom. It was a little hard to get used to in the beginning, because the water was slightly frigid. It's kind of freezing in here, I'm not gonna lie. And a bunch of water kept running into my left ear. Oh, my left ear keeps filling up with water. Oh my. Once I hit the 15-minute mark, I finally achieved flow state. In other words, I pretty much reached a point where I obviously couldn't see anything, hear anything, or really feel anything. It was pretty stinking trippy, I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of like sleeping, but you're not asleep, if that makes any sense at all. Just total relaxation. I mean, look at the leg spread. Whoa! For the last 15 minutes or so, I don't remember any of that because I completely passed out. I was knocked. Oh. Whoa, dude. I am freezing right now. Oh. Well, that was something. Was it exactly what we all pictured? No. I mean, with the hand we were given, with the limited amount of salt that was bought, with the tub that was clearly too small, it was actually a pretty good time. The total elapsed time that I was floating was actually 30 minutes. If you can believe that. I was also slightly freezing my sack off in there. That water was frigid. All in all, I would give our homemade sensory deprivation tank a solid 3.5 out of 5 stars. If we had had some more salt so that we were actually full on floating in a bigger tub, definitely would have bumped the score up a little bit. Also, if the water wasn't negative 20 degrees, that would have helped as well. I gotta say, that felt nice. My back does feel slightly limber. I think that I could lift a slightly above average log and not have any pain at all. And at the end of the day, it was pretty stinking fun, which is what it's all about. So I'll tell you what, this video gets 100 likes, I will go and try an actual sensory deprivation tank just to get the actual full-on experience. Because we kind of got the bootleg knockoff Dollar Tree treatment sensory deprivation experience. I'd like to get the full-on sensory deprivation, hour-and-a-half long, throw me in the tank and see what kind of magic happens. Anyways, when I was laying there, for whatever reason, I got the urge to watch Harry Potter. So I think I'm gonna go watch that now. So peace out.